You think that A on his forehead stands for France?
Jesus Christ. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Remember the Hyphen. I'm Average Joe Squad.
And I'm Zuckitsu 134.
And I look better than either costume in the next couple movies we're about to review.
Yeah, the sad part is, and welcome to our new month. Well, I was going to say monthly, but due to the Good and the Bad and the Wolverine taking like a month and a half, welcome to the Summer of America's Ass. That's right, we're going to be watching every single Captain America movie ever made, as far as we know, and not counting the serials. So...
which we will get to eventually. We're going to try to... We're thinking about having a theme month at some point where we just do serials.
Yeah, and I think that would be more fitting there. Plus, after we did the Batman one, which we're planning on doing the second one this fall, that took like 3 hours out of my life to watch.
Yeah.
And as much as I like them...
And I'm sorry I'm not wearing the hood for the whole episode, because holy fuck, that was going to get hot.
Yeah. Especially because this is the middle of summer.
And it's raining, so we can't open the windows.
Also, I do apologize if you hear like a sound. It is raining right now, but this is like the best way we can do audio. So, to be honest, I think since we started doing this review, I was looking forward to us eventually doing the Captain America films. Because what we're doing first aside, I love Chris Evans' portrayal as Captain America. I think
same.
He
was like perfect for that role.
Yeah, like I know we all make jokes about some of the other stuff he's done, but like, he was pitch perfect as Steve Rogers, and it's one of the reasons why I as much as I'm the Iron Man dude that like watch these mostly for Iron Man, as we get to like the Marvel ones, there's a reason why America Fuck Yeah like was like my theme song whenever I'd watch these movies, because my god, watching Captain America just fucking beat up Nazis and like fight political intrigue, I'm there. But unfortunately, before we can get to those, we have to look at some great shames on the old red, white, and blue. Now, it was a great deal for us to watch these, because technically watching these is considered torture, and it goes against the Geneva Convention.
And listen, for these first two movies, which were the Red Brown Captain America movies, we watched them as they should have been watched. On some old ass rental VHS copies. Yeah, these things are old as dirt.
Yeah.
Like when we talked about reviewing these, I was like, I don't have them, and I didn't know how much they were going to cost on DVD. But I was like, let's see how much they're worth on eBay.
Yeah.
I think I got these for like $10 plus shipping.
I'm sorry, my dude. You got ripped the fuck off.
I did get ripped the fuck off. These are like these. When I say X rentals, I mean
like they have Hollywood Video like slung right across them. We were accosted by these films,
and I wasn't even kind. I didn't even rewind this.
I mean, to be fair, the first one it doesn't deserve kindness.
Yeah, I mean, like it's even got the little stickers on the side.
Yeah, which these must have come from like the Linesville Hollywood Video or like the.
I bought these off eBay or some. They came somewhere from a Hollywood Video.
Yeah, true. I guess I kind of meant more like they came from like that Hollywood Video, not like the one we went to.
No, this came from the actual chain Hollywood Video.
Yeah, which it's basically like a lesser Blockbuster. It's
a discount Blockbuster.
Yeah, but can we put the? I also love that like these were so bad they only used one picture for both. Like
just little differences here and there, but
yeah. Yeah. So. In 1979, to compete with basically due to the popularity of the old Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk show, I think CBS, which is where this originally aired, they wanted to make more superhero shows in line with like Hulk and in particular Wonder Woman, which as we go on, not only did they do that.
This is MCA Universal.
Oh, MCA Universal.
Maybe this was. Let me look it up real quick.
Well, regardless, it was a TV. I want to say
it's actually Shout Factory.
Well, I meant more like CBS, not like what released these originally. I'm talking about like
when they aired. That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to find.
And so, basically, they were like, "Well, let's do Captain America," because he's easy to do.
This was a couple years after '76, the bicentennial. So.
Yeah, so like it made sense. Problem is, as we get into these two movies, they really do feel like
CBS.
Oh, okay, CBS.
Yeah, it was CBS.
It really feels like they were made with Vietnam in mind, particularly in the way they portray Steve Rogers in this.
Yeah. What, where he's like a surfer bro?
Yeah. But basically, they want to create something more in line with, like, Wonder Woman. And I only saw this because I was watching some reviews to kind of get in the mindset of what this was. The $6 Million Man. You know that noise that they made? Like,
yeah.
This is clearly like a
just
very...
you saying it, I can hear it in my head.
A very big ripoff of the $6 Million Man. Which, once we talk about the premise of the first film, it'll be really obvious this is just a $6 Million Man ripoff, which is such a shame. Because you could do so much good with a cat movie. Like...
and that costume don't look nothing like what the fuck he wearing in the first
film, yeah.
At all.
Dear
God, it looks fucking awful.
Sadly, most of the people in here you won't recognize, except for the guy who plays Captain America, which is Reb Brown. Probably most of you, if you know who he is, you watched Mystery Science Theater, where they did Space Mutiny, where he's the main character. Well, probably most of you remember him as, like, all the different names that the crew gave him, like Blast Hard Cheese, Big McRip Huge, like all those names that they gave for him. Now that really awful scene where he's driving clearly like a golf cart with something like a metal thing taped over it, and he's trying to pretend like it's really fast, and he's just going, ah! Ah! Which I showed him some Robo War and like some of that Rambo knockoff he was in. And
I want to watch that Rambo knockoff because it looks actually entertaining.
It really is. Because
it just looks like it's just straight up fucking Rambo.
No, it's just, yeah. Because, like, be honest, after I showed you those clips.
I was like, wow, remember I was like, wow, he's actually surprisingly calm in these movies. Yeah. Like, holy fuck. The video I saw, I swear he did nothing but scream for fucking 2 minutes.
Scream and shoot. Jakota, you traitor!
It's just like that for like a minute and a half. I'm like, god damn.
No, like,
stop screaming, bro.
Hey, asshole!
Fuck.
That's what you pay for when you get him. Like, you get B movie acting and A quality screaming.
Yeah, before we decided to go through Cat Month, like the most I had seen of these movies was it was probably that fucking meme video I found with the scene from the second one where he throws the shield and it comes back.
Yeah.
Which when I was watching this, because we watched the first one together and then I watched the second one by myself.
And I've seen both of these enough that like. And I've seen reviews of it, particularly Spoonie's reviews back when he still existed.
Yeah. But, like, I'm sitting there on my computer, you know, because I'm like, it's in the beginning. I'm like, I'm kind of, like, half paying attention to it. I heard that fucking music for that scene come on. And I'm like, is that the fucking shield throwing scene? And I look up, and I'm like, god damn it. I know it from the music.
So bad. My
favorite crazier is the scene where he's like throwing the fucking bike.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how that would work at all.
No.
And the scene where he's jumping, it's clearly not fucking footage like backwards.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it. In the case of both of them, I would say it's like the right amount of 70s cheese that I like out of something where I'm like, okay, I may not be taking it totally serious.
Yeah.
But I'm at least entertained because it's cheesiness from like a 70s movie.
More so the second film than the first film, because the first film is dull as fucking dishwater.
I remember you and I watching this, and I remember we're just laying on my couch. I'm like, dude, I'm bored out of my fucking mind watching this.
No, like even me, who was like, because I kind of warned you, I'm like, the first one's not nearly as good as the second one.
We were going to try to get through both that day, and I'm like, bro, I ain't doing no one of these fucking movies
to be fair, I think if we had started the second one, you probably could have handled it, because it at least, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because, like, the problem with the first film is it's clearly just the setup episodes of the pilot, and in my opinion, that's also one of the reasons why this failed. If they had done the second film first, and then did the pilot, it probably would have actually
been decent,
because, like, this gives you more, like, the second film gives you much more of an idea of what the show would have been like. You know, it's just him going around fighting, like, injustice.
Yeah.
Whereas the first film is all about, like...
Old people in this town are my friends. If I hear you're messing with them again, I'm coming after you. I'm like, well, bro, that's the most unintimidating I've ever seen motherfucking Steve Rogers at all.
But before we really dive into these movies, I just want to say one thing about the Shout Factory DVD release.
Which has both movies on one disc, and I paid a grand total of $5.
I actually...
For this with Prime shipping, so I paid jack shit when it came to shipping.
The sad part is when this came out, it actually was here in our store, in our
Was
Walmart.
It really?
I never bought it because I was just like, there's no way I can justify. Because this was before we did, we didn't
even know each other at that point.
Like, because it was like 2013 or 14, and I was just like, I in no way good conscience can buy these movies. So, like, I was never gonna watch them. But my favorite thing about the bag is they say Reb Brown from your Hunter of the Future. And yeah, I know a few years ago that came out on Blu-ray over here in the States. But there ain't no way in hell anyone that picks this shit up is gonna know him from fucking your Hunter of the Future.
What I love is the bag. It just says featuring Christopher Lee, Lord of the Rings. I'm like, I mean, he's in a lot of other shit.
Yeah, but like most people, sadly, only know him as
Star Wars, at least?
Or Count Dooku. But
I don't know, the fact that he's motherfucking Dracula?
yeah, one of these days, I need to get the Blu-ray, because that's one of those cheesy B movies I want you and me to watch. Because literally the premise is it's after the Earth is wiped out by aliens. It's about this cave dude named Yor as he fucking bangs his way through all these cave women and fights giant purple gorilla men.
I'd like us to review some of the Hammer Dracula films.
I'd like to do that.
The problem with that is just there's no way to coherently get all of them on a set because they're all
owned
distribution
by different people,
fucked up with the rights.
But
I don't even think all of them are on Blu-ray.
Anyway, let's dive into the first film, Captain America, the 1975 TV special, or 1979 TV special, rather.
Yeah.
So probably the biggest problem with this film is the fact that it, instead of Steve being like a man out of time, like you know him, they wanted to contemporize it. Partially because of the fact that, in fairness, Cap had only been unfrozen for about like 10 years at this time. Because like he was revived after like Avengers issue 10, where like they found him in the block ice. Yeah. So like I get why they didn't go with that premise at first, because like it's still like not far enough away for them to do something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I also kind of think they were trying to attract a little bit more of a casual audience.
Yeah.
Maybe they tried to kind of like, modernize it, kind of remove some of the more kind of like comic booky type plot to it. Try to see if maybe they could draw some people in.
Yeah. But the problem...
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. The problem there is they want to make it that it's, a post-Vietnam story.
Which I think was too soon to be telling that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, Deer Hunter came out around, which that might have been some of the inspiration for this too, was Deer Hunter came out right around this time.
Yeah.
It was a big, like, Academy Award success.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had stuff like Apocalypse Now coming out around the same time. So, like, you were just then starting to kind of get the Vietnam movies where it was okay to kind of talk about it. But, like, up to that point, like, you had, like, John Wayne, the Green Berets.
Yeah.
You didn't really get stuff about Vietnam because nobody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. Problem is that you make Steve, like, someone that, like, had survived the Vietnam War. He's jaded and, like, he just wants to
drive around
in his mellow set of wheels, aka the panel van that Cap was known for at the time. And it just doesn't work because the Steve Rogers is not patriotic like the man that you know. Like, he's not the Star Spangled Man, which is, like, even if you've never read a Cap comic,
it's a defining characteristic.
Yeah, like,
which Steve, it's like a defining thing with Steve is that Steve loves his country. He may not always agree with what the country does, but he loves the country.
Yeah, he is the representation of the dream. And in this, he's just, nah, man.
The rain is picking up.
Yeah. No, man, I don't want to know what you've done to me. I don't want to...
Speak of which, there's a panel van right there.
Oh, my God, yeah, there is.
Ironically.
I don't want to help my country.
I just want to... I'm a man of peace.
Yeah.
I want to raise a family.
It's like, bruh.
That's just it, Steve. They've got your family. No!
Well, no, because then real Captain America
turned into an 80s movie. I would have laughed my ass off. There's a parody of that.
No,
somewhere.
like, yeah, no.
Just Steve mowing motherfuckers down in M60. I would pay money if someone would do a drawing of that. That would be funny as hell.
So yeah, like, so right off the bat, you're watching this. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this Captain America sucks.
I mean, like, I'm all for having, like, some change up, trying to make it unique and stuff. As long as it works.
Yeah.
This doesn't work.
And in my opinion, I don't mind changing stuff as long as the character feels like
the character.
And he doesn't.
Prime example, the changes to Peter in the 2002 Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Is he totally 100% comically accurate? No, but it works.
Yeah,
he still feels like Peter Parker.
You know, at the end of the day, they kept the things that are important.
Make some other examples.
Like,
Black Widow in the most recent Black Widow movie. Natasha, is it the totally accurate 616 background? No, but it still feels like the character.
Yeah, and
that's the key thing with this.
Like, there's enough there that
you can understand and you feel that that's the character.
Hell, the Burton Batman films, Batman kills, but he still feels like Batman in those movies. Like, he still feels like who he should be. And in this, like, right off the bat, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And especially because the plot in this is so fucking 70s.
Oh my god, it is. I've watched a lot of, like, 70s B movies and shit. God, I was like, okay, this is not one of the good ones, and I am not anywhere near drunk enough for this.
Yeah, so the basic plot is that Steve Rogers is given a letter from a friend of his father's that he's in some kind of trouble. Before Steve even gets there and knows what's going on, the villains of the piece decide, let's make him go down a detour and kill him with an oil slick. Because they...
It's like straight up out of James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, especially around this era.
Because, like, they think the guy has sent him this microfilm that they need to finish their ultimate weapon, which is a fucking neutron bomb. Again, straight out of James fucking Bond. That's like some shit like Goldfinger would do. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was the pretty much the basic plot the villain wanted. But they think he has this microfilm, and they want the microfilm. But instead of getting the microfilm out of him in a way that would be subtle and would keep them off his back,
they just go over the top and just woke up and chose violence, I'm guessing.
My favorite part is after that happens, Steve goes right back to, like, going to meet this doctor that that also is good friends with Steve's dad. And he never brings up that he was in, like, a horrible accident. And I'm like...
You think that would be, like, something you would mention?
Yeah! Like, what the fuck? But basically... This guy that also knew Steve's dad, I think his name's like Lou Brackett. I only remember because one of the best lines in this film is when someone says that's the second movie, you want the first one. Brackett is no mad dog killer, he is up to something. I'm like, really? The dude who wants to build a neutron bomb ain't a mad dog killer?
Oh, it's Steve Forrest is the villain's name in this.
Well, that's the actor.
Oh yeah, it is. Shit. Yeah, my bad. Shit.
No worries. His name's like...
It's so forgettable.
Yeah.
It's such a forgettable plot.
Just for now, his name's Brackett. Like, his last name's Brackett. But basically, he finds out that his father was a special agent for the government.
Where can I get that DVD cover?
God.
What the fuck is that?
It looks like the comic book covers of the time is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it looks so fucking cheap.
No, it really does. But...
Fighting terror on a motorcycle, go USA. Oh, fuck you. No, it's already cheesy.
But so basically, this scientist comes to Steve because they're trying to create this...
Dr. Simon Mills is who you're thinking of.
Dr. Simon Mills? I thought it was Brackett.
No, Brackett is the villain.
Yeah, Lou Brackett. Yeah. But like, I couldn't...
The other guy you're thinking
of. Yeah, the doctor. I couldn't remember his name. He just looks like Carl Sagan, so for most of the film, I just call him Carl Sagan.
Yeah, I remember you doing that. I'm like, okay.
Welcome to my spaceship of imagination. But basically, Dr. Mills, you know, instead of making a post-Raisin Bran or whatever fucking cereal they made, he's like, your father created a super steroid out of his own blood known as Flag.
And I'm like, I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, are you for fucking real?
Yeah, so the super soldier serum in this is like, it's based on, like, Steve's dad's adrenal glands, and it allows you to, like, gain super strength. You know, like, the stereotypical things, like, you know...
It's basically the super soldier serum.
But here, they've been testing it in rats, and it keeps killing the rats. Because basically it's made from human adrenaline. So they figure that their best bet would be to try and use it on Steve, because he would have a pretty close DNA to his father. And Steve, of course, being like, nah, I don't want to live my life, you know, from weekend to weekend. I have to help my other friend who's in trouble. I gotta go. Despite the fact that, like, I'm like, you wouldn't even probably need to work for the government. You could probably just say, I just want to be tested on. I don't, like, but, like, basically, he finds out that, like, not only that, but his dad was also a super crime fighter that was mocked by his peers and called Captain America because he was so patriotic. And eventually this leads to Steve finding the other friend, and he is shot by the bad guys. Again, before they find the microfilm. Why are you killing all these people before you get the microfilm that you need? It's beyond me. And eventually, like, to save some talking of the plot, eventually the bad guys trick Steve into falling off a cliff on his motorcycle. Again, very similar to the accident that almost kills the $6 million man.
It's not like they probably reused some footage here, or
I wouldn't be surprised. And
probably easy to get.
Yeah. And so Steve, who's clinging to life, they try all sorts of operations to save him. Eventually the doc's like, all right, we've got no choice. Inject him with flag. And it basically gives him a super healing factor, you know, strengthens his body enough to survive it, and he's now Captain America. But of course, he still doesn't go into action at this point because he's like, nah, fuck you, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for you to save my fucking life. And he whines like a big fucking...
You didn't save my life, you ruined my death.
Yeah. Like, he basically just whines like a big fucking baby for the next, 10, 20 minutes of this film. The only thing that makes him happy is the blonde lab assistant that works with Dr. Mills, who, Steve clearly wants to bang throughout most of this story. She does look good in that one-piece suit, but, because they go to the beach, which is hilarious, but... And so... Basically, to kind of cut a long story short, eventually Steve is convinced to work for them once they show him his super sweet motorcycle, which has a rocket boost and a silent mode that somehow makes this thing run really silently.
I'm like, that's not possible.
No. And of course
go fuck yourself. That is not possible.
The other thing, the classic weapon of Captain America, a bubble sled. I'm sorry, I meant the adamantium shield, the vibranium shield that Cap is normally known for having.
Except here, it's clearly a clear piece of plastic with the red stripes and the star on it. Like, they couldn't even spring to get some white fucking paint for this thing. Yeah. It looks so terrible.
No, it really does, because it doesn't look, it looks
like a fucking Frisbee.
Yeah. Like, it looks super flimsy. They try to be like, oh, it's made out of, space-age plastic or something.
Like, I'm like, you know, I can let a lot go. Yeah. In terms of, suspending my disbelief or accepting, hey, this was a 70s movie, clearly done on a budget. I shouldn't expect the whole ton. They could have gotten some fucking white paint. Yeah. And I would have probably been more okay with it. But without the white paint, where it's just the red and then the clear plastic, it looks so fucking cheap.
Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. Well, this is an hour in? You probably got 30 more minutes where he's Cap. Oh, no. He doesn't become Cap until the last 20 minutes of this hour and 38-minute movie.
We got more we got more in-costume shit from the Wonder Woman TV movie.
Yeah. And that movie was not very good, as both him and I attested to.
Which, if you haven't checked out a review of it, it's on his channel.
Yeah, look it up. It's season 1. I can't remember what episode it is, but it's season 1. And so... Eventually, we get to see more of, Steve's abilities, because I think it also implies that, his senses are enhanced, so, he can sometimes, see everything in slow motion if he focuses. His hearing is enhanced. Which leads to one of the most awful fucking stunts I've ever seen, where, this dude on a helicopter tries to shoot him, and he is, worse than a fucking stormtrooper. He misses every fucking shot. And I know it's supposed to be implied because the motorcycle's going super duper fast. Okay. But he misses every fucking shot. I've seen bad guys in Bond shoot better than this. I've seen guys in fucking Power Rangers shoot better than this.
I've seen stormtroopers actually hit motherfuckers.
Yeah. And and it's so fucking bad because eventually the helicopter gets real low to the ground so that Steve can jump on it. And then he pulls the old I'm on the other side, and they don't and they're like, where'd he go? I mean, it's not like we can't turn our backs around and see that he's over there. I'm just going to keep looking over here. I'm just going to keep looking right here, at this very spot. Oh, shit! Red Brown's beating me up. And then, eventually the bad guys get a hold of the microfilm, because Like, there's like this like 10-minute scene where they try to like detect it where the fuck the microfilm was hidden, and it fails, and then the bad guy gets it like immediately by asking the daughter of the dead scientist, and he's like, oh yeah, she's like, oh, me and father used to do all sorts of special father-daughter things, which I'm like,
lines that haven't aged
well. And then eventually it's revealed he hid it in the most obvious fucking place, inside a fucking fishing bowl, which I'm like, none of you could have figured that fucking out? He has like fish and shit all over the fucking place.
You don't think he would have, I don't know, hid that there? I mean, it's hollow inside of those.
Yeah, like I've seen plenty of movies where people hide shit in fishing bowls. It's not that hard, but eventually, basically, the scientist girl from the other lab comes, and he kidnaps both of them, which leads into Cap finally donning his outfit, which is not the outfit that's on the cover.
No, it's
based on Steve's drawing that he made.
It's not even on the cover of that.
Yeah.
Because it looks so fucking terrible. You don't want to show it.
I'm gonna look it up. I'll
look it up right now.
But so basically, Steve gave a drawing of this to Dr. Carl Sagan, and Carl made it on his design, which I love because like they're like, you need a disguise. What better disguise than the one that they used to mock your father? They mocked Captain America. Be Captain America, Steve. Shove Captain America down their throats. And I'm like, did I pop in a 70s porno? Yeah, like, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's all blue. Like let's you and me bring this over and like
turn the brightness down on us, because that'll actually probably help.
Like, for one, it's all blue. It doesn't have the stripes across the torso like it's supposed to.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's better.
I know
why.
I know you and me don't like the biker helmet, but like, to be fair, that was probably the easiest way to do Cap was the biker helmet.
And again, I'm willing to forgive. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot worse.
But
holy fuck, that is laughable.
My other favorite is that it's supposed to be a disguise. The visor is translucent blue. Everyone knows who that is. Like, it's the 7-foot-tall blonde dude that's ripped as shit. And
looks like he's never missed a leg day a day in his life.
My God, the fight scenes in this movie are so fucking bad. We didn't even go into this, but like, at one point after Steve gets flag injected into him, they kidnap him because they think he has the microfilm again, and they hold him at this meat packing plant. And instead of Steve fighting the guys with like his fists, he slings the cow halves at them. Captain America slings more fucking cow in this than he does his signature fucking shield. And it's so fucking dumb, especially because like
prime American beef.
Because after he beats all the dudes up, he hangs them on meat hooks, and
straight up out of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, and probably one of the worst things about Red Brown is, as much as I love him, he tries to do like Bond one-liners, and he's not good at it at all. Like, he calls the police, he's like, yeah, you better hurry. I think they're starting to get frostbite. And I'm like, the fuck kind of joke is that? Like, if it were me, I would have been like,
I've come up with better one-liners.
Yeah, hello? I got some bad guys at this meatpacking plant.
Oh, don't worry, they're hanging.
Yeah! That would have been what mine do.
They're just hanging.
Like, no rush. They're going to be hanging around for a while. I wonder
how much of that was the writing. I don't really know if there's a good way to deliver that line. No, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, like I get it, you're in a meatpacking plant and it's cold, but I wouldn't go to frostbite.
Yeah.
Like, that,
they're getting a bit frosty.
Better hurry. I think freezer burn's starting to settle in.
Yeah, that would have
been way more sense, because like, you're in a freezer. But then of course we also get the scene where like he's trying to like rescue the girls, and he doesn't even barely use his shield or his fist. He fucking shoots oil out of a pipe, which that oil looks super fucking brown. I'm like, Steve, I don't think that's an oil pipe. I think you found a sewage line.
I think you found the sewage line.
Oh God, I've got open wounds. I have sepsis. Oh God. I'm sorry, citizen! And of course my other favorite is, after he rescues the girls, apparently he slams this dude into a wall so hard, the dude like fucking dies. Which, I mean, Steve could probably do, if I'm being perfectly honest, but like, it looks like this. Like he literally just this. Like, I'm sorry, I just...
Are you good?
Like, he barely shoves the dude. He's like, I got the bomb! They got the neutron bomb!
Dies. I'm like, Jesus, Dan.
Alfred! Alfred! You gotta help me, Alfred! And finally they go back to the camp, and it turns out the bad guy's plan is he wants this neutron bomb because he's going to either blow up the city unless he gets like $1 billion in bullion, in gold bullion. Which I'm like, that is literally the plot of Goldfinger.
Yeah, oh my god damn it.
Like, except he doesn't want to irradiate the national mint for no fucking reason. And again, I love the line like Sagan says here, is like, but why? Brockett is no mad dog killer. He is up to something. I'm like, he built a nuclear bomb.
What do you mean?
He's not a mad dog killer.
Motherfucker straight up built a nuke.
Like, I also love how they figure out...
He's basically Gandhian civilization at this fucking point.
I also basically love how they detective out how they're transporting this neutron bomb, because it's too heavy to be, like, loaded onto a plane. And because one of the bad guys put it on a truck and said, roll it out. And I'm like, because, 70s trucker lingo? For all I would have been like, wait a minute, they said roll out. I got it. The neutron bomb is a transformer. It can turn to a car. Which I know Transformers hadn't been invented, but yeah, I'm just making a joke about, like, how much of a jump it was to go from...
And he didn't even use the right fucking quote.
I know, it's technically Autobots Transformer Rollout. I say that to you...
Call yourself a fucking fan.
Oh, fuck off. You just do that because I always do that to you when you say it. And so, then we get the I'm gonna fucking smack you. And so we get to the climax of the film.
You're gonna tap me, I'm gonna die.
And so we get to the climax of the film. And fuck. Alright, which has one of the worst stunts ever, where he climbs on the truck. And like there's no bad guys that jump on the truck with him and they fight on the top. Holy shit, do you think that's actually what they're referencing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier with them fighting on the semi-trucks?
Oh my god, maybe it is.
Holy shit.
Except they did it way fucking better.
Holy crap, I just realized that has to be an homage to these fucking Red Brown movies.
I mean, he is in Captain America the First Avenger.
He is in Captain America the First Avenger. Which I do love that Reb is still very passionate about being Cap, even though
somebody we work with has actually met him at a con.
Said
he's a very, very nice guy.
No, I actually have heard he's very nice, despite doing a lot of kind of shitty asshole characters. I know he's in a movie called... That's not even making a joke. The movie's title is 7 S's, because it's about a dude who kills people with poisonous snakes. And he's like a jerk jock who gets killed by the guy. And it's hilarious, because he's like singing, and all of a sudden he gets bit by a snake on the foot. He's like, shit! Get off me!
When are we gonna review Cobra?
Eventually.
You dirtbag.
Let's stick to one B movie action hero at a time. And
hey, Red Skull. Lassie shot. I like Lassie shots.
Red Skull of Hydra. You seem to think that you're the law on this.
Oh my god! Can we get a Judge Dredd Cap crossover? I would pay some fucking money.
I don't know if Cap could put up with Judge Dredd.
Probably couldn't.
Because Judge Dredd's just as much of a fascist as the Red Skull. I mean, granted, I kind of get why Judge Dredd is a fascist in that universe, but anyway. And so, I love it because Brackett's sitting with the neutron bomb in the truck reading a book, because he's got a dead man switch on him, where if he dies, the bomb goes off. Why the fuck you'd want to do that, I don't know, because one of the other things is he's like a corrupt oil tycoon, and he wants to make even more money by being a terrorist, which I'm like...
The whole idea of a dead man switch is just to kind of just be like, hey, if something does happen,
yeah,
I'm taking you motherfuckers with me.
Which again, Brackett is no mad dog killer. Yeah, he's up to something. And so, like, Cap doesn't even fight anybody. Cap sees he's in the truck, so he uses his Cap strength to bend the pipe, which is hilarious because when you see the truck later on in other shots, the pipe is unbent. And he bends the truck exhaust in there and smothers the dude with carbon monoxide.
Oh my damn. I'm pretty sure that would have straight up killed him. Via carbon monoxide poisoning.
I think the idea is that he blasts enough gas in there to knock the dude out and then, like, let go of the pipe, because it does have, like, an air in and out, so it wouldn't necessarily kill him, but he would definitely be knocked out. But and so Cap finds that the dude has a dead man switch, and so Dr. Carl Sagan, who's been following him via helicopter, has to come down And the big action scene is Cap standing there while Dr. Carl Sagan gives him CPR.
This is a superhero movie, by the way.
Yeah. And it's so fucking stupid because, like, it's supposed to be this big climax. I'm like, you know he's not gonna die. Like, this is a 70s movie. There's no way the bad guy's gonna die unless it's, like, a fucking Bond film. And again, dude has a dead man switch on, so he can't die. And so basically the film ends, you know, they rescue the girls, they get rid of the neutron bomb, and Steve decides to work for America as Captain America.
We get a shot at the end of the movie with a way better fucking costume.
Yeah, like it's this one right here.
It looks like that one. That looks actually accurate.
Yeah, this one's much more accurate.
I wish he'd worn that in the actual fucking movie.
Like, and to be honest, I could have lived with this costume because, like, yeah.
Hold the shield up to them so they know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, to be fair, the shield here, like, they clearly painted it right too. Like, because I think this one has the bubble shield.
No, they
actually hid the shield in all these covers.
They're lying to you.
Yeah, because it doesn't. Oh, right there on the bike.
They're lying to you.
Because, like, there they can't edit it, but that white there, that's from the bike. That is not, yeah. And so, like, but like here, this makes more sense. Like, yeah, it doesn't have the cowl. To be honest, I think this here makes a little bit more sense, like, TV wise. And even the MCU, he doesn't wear like a cowl.
Yeah.
Like, it's a helmet. The helmet is sort of thing. And so basically Steve decides to work for the government, which we see in Captain America 2: Death Too Soon. Colton?
Oh, the one that was actually fucking more interesting because shit happened?
I figured I'd let you leave because you've watched this movie a little fresher than me.
Yeah. If I can remember, I zoned out through a lot of it because they're
yeah.
While this is way better than
it's still a little dull in places.
It's still a bit. It drags a lot in some places.
Because this is supposed to be like you would watch these in like 30-minute episodes when eventually it got syndicated.
Yeah. So basically,
Steve,
we got a terrorist again. Yeah. This time played by Christopher Lee, which
who's playing a Cuban in this. He's like Brazilian or something like that. He's supposed to be South American of some sort, South or Latin American of some sort.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, granted, he probably looks closer to that than fucking Fu Manchu when he was in Castle of Fu Manchu.
We're not gonna talk about that fucking movie.
No, that movie's fucking dull. I just have to bring up the blatant racism of casting Christopher Lee as Fu Manchu. But basically, the terrorist Raul. Which I'm like, really?
He's fucking he's Ra's al Ghul.
Like, why couldn't you have gotten Ricardo Montalban for this? Like, you couldn't have gotten an actual, like.
Well, no, because he was busy doing Wonder Woman in Fantasy Island.
Fair enough.
But so basically, Christopher Lee's whole thing in this movie is that his character has come up with this chemical compound that will basically age you up faster.
What?
It will accelerate age to the point where you will age months in a couple hours.
It's supposed to be like 38 hours, like 38 days for every 6 hours, or like they make it sound like way worse than it actually is. Like, yeah, like he does gas a city in this, but like they still give Cap plenty of time to save the day, which is what makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah, and it's like throughout the movie, like we find that Cap finds the town where this is going on, and but he's acting real weird. They don't want him around.
My favorite part is he tries to talk to this little kid, being like, I thought you could show me them trails, and I'm like, that's a little stranger dangery there, Steve.
Yeah, and then the best part is there's this like fucking scene where like these guys try to beat him up with a bat, and he just fucking annihilates these guys.
My favorite part is he gets put in jail in this, and eventually he bends the bars and gets out, and then they see Cap, and they're like, Cap must have got Rogers loose, and I'm like,
process of elimination is not strong in these ones.
No, and I'm like, come on, Cap is built like a brick shithouse, and Steve is built like a brick shithouse. It's not hard to put two and two together. But yeah, and that's more or less the basic plot, is that Cap has to try and like stop this guy while also, finding an antidote to this drug, because basically Raul has the antidote so that he can reverse this once he gets the money. My favorite part about all this is that Raul is hiding in plain sight in America by pretending to be the warden of a prison.
Because no one's gonna think to look in the prison.
Yeah.
Which I think they even say no one's gonna suspect. They're like, okay, fair.
Fair, but like...
Still kind of dumb.
Yeah. No, it's really stupid. My favorite part is this movie opens on Steve, like, chilling out at, like, some beach, painting an old lady for a self-portrait. And, like, it opens with this old lady being like, someone's been robbing all of us every time we try to check our pensions in at the bank. And my best part is he's like, you need to pay your pension today, right? Yes. Why don't you go check that? Okay. So he literally puts this little old lady in danger. And what happens not 5 seconds after he does this? The guy who's been stealing the pension steals her purse.
Which leads into this fucking hilarious scene where, like, Steve shows up, he throws the shield, and it just, like, fucking goes flying, and it curves.
Well, no, the best part is the dude misses, and it does all that. And I'm like, in, like, the time it took to turn around, Steve has been stabbed 7 times by this biker.
Look on the fucking music playing.
The music is trying so hard to make...
It looks like a fucking parody.
What? And then, of course, the best part is when the shield finally gets all the way around. And it smacks the dude in the back of the head, and you get the thunk. Like, have you ever been hit with, like, a wiffle bat or, like some piece of plastic that smacks you in the back of the head? Like...
Yeah, it's like the fuck.
No, because like it doesn't even make like a clang or like a heavy blow sound. It makes the sound of getting hit in the head with a plastic bubble, and it looks so fucking. Actually, could you reenact what the thug looks like when he gets hit? Because he tries to sell this, and it's so fucking bad.
It's like, bro, come on,
like, come on.
He Shatnered it. That's what it looked like. Shatner did this shit.
Oh no! I've been lightly tapped in the head.
Like, bro, fuck out of here. And then the other guy, he's like, "Oh fuck this! I'm gonna drive away onto the beach."
Oh yeah, and like these fast motion Steve chasing the fucking buggy.
He fucking rips him out. The old people of this town are my friends. If I hear you're messing with them, I'm coming after you. And I'm like, that is the most unintimidating this motherfucker could ever look.
No,
it's just funny as shit looking.
And you know, the sad part is we didn't even get a good Red Brown scream as he's chasing the buggy down.
No,
ah!
No, he didn't.
Oh, but my God. And the worst part is when they do the fucking trick again. And it fails this time because Christopher Lee is like, what a cheap jungle hunter trick. I'm like, yeah, because I believe this motherfucker's been to the jungle. And that's not to Christopher Lee, because I know Christopher Lee is like an actual like soldier during like World War II. Dude like, has seen some shit.
Yeah, I mean, what was the quote during Lord of the Rings? Well,
oh yeah,
like stab him in the back, like so in like like I think they said like you're gonna stab in the back, make a sound like like do this sound. And he's like, do you know what a person actually sounds like when they get stabbed in the back?
Yeah,
I do. And I'm just like, damn.
Probably Peter Jackson was like,
okay then.
Well, we'll do that. like Peter Jackson is a messed up motherfucker. We've seen Brain Dead, so he was just probably like,
okay,
that is amazing. Please do that sound. Like, because you know what, that is more accurate. If I'm being honest.
Dorito man.
And so like basically after that, he finally gets in contact with Dr. Carl Sagan again, you know, and finally he's put on the lead. And I think probably the best scene in the movie comes shortly after that was when he gets to the town in Colton's favorite scene, which is him painting the cat.
Oh yeah, there's this scene where like he's just like painting this cat, and I'm like, that cat's staying pretty fucking still. That's kind of humorous.
Well, and it's probably the most Steve Rogers thing this Steve
when
does.
He's painting this cat, I looked at him like, I don't believe Red Brown actually painted that. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he's a great painter.
Yeah. I don't know.
I could easily be wrong.
To be fair, like one of the things I liked in the re-update of Cap's origin in like Man Out of Time is when Steve got out of the army, or he said once World War II's over, he wanted to become a park ranger and paint like, you know, like Yellowstone. Like he wanted to do like drawings of Yellowstone for like guides and stuff. And I'm like, That is the most Steve Rogers-y thing I've ever heard Steve Rogers say. Sadly, I don't think he would have... There's no way the government would have let him retire, which is the sad part. He'd probably be doing Black Op missions against the Russians after World War II. But, yeah, and so, like, that's the basic premise of this movie. So we can probably just go into highlights of this film. Like, my favorite, of course, being is his fight in the prison. One of which is the part where... Or no, actually, I do have to say, I love the fact that, like, Christopher Lee at one point is told that Mr. Rogers has escaped from the prison. And he's like, you best be sure this Mr. Rogers doesn't get out of that town. I always want to be like, it looks like it's going to be a bad day in the neighborhood for Mr. Rogers.
My favorite's when he tosses the fucking bike.
Oh my god!
It looks like, so fucking dumb.
Like, oh, there's
like it gets up and it just like miraculously lifts itself down. Like,
yeah.
Fuck you. That doesn't even look real.
No, it doesn't.
Even in the 70s, that would have looked fake as fuck.
Like, and the best part is eventually Steve like has to like gets chased around on the bike. Which I mean the bike chasing stunts don't look bad. But then Steve has nowhere to go. So Steve drives the bike off the prison because there's like a sheer cliff on one side, and pushes a button on the bike, and it ejects a fucking hang glider. Steve gets away on his bike via a hang glider.
So I'm like, okay,
yeah,
even me, I'm like, bullshit alarms are going off.
No, there's no way that hang glider. My other favorite is in the climax after the bad guys gas this. I think it's Portland. I want to say is where they gas.
Yeah, Portland,
Oregon. And then Raoul basically demands, like whatever fucking money he wants. I think it's like $100 million or something like that. Which back in 1970s was a lot of money. And so basically they realize that, like, him and Sagan, they do once again their bullshit deduction shit. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, yeah, let's go back to the prison and let's try and get the antidote back from him. Well, eventually, like, Cap, I think he also has the help of the FBI at this point, because the FBI is like, nah, we can't trust this.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
This dipshit in a fucking like dirt bike outfit. Like, we've already got a town gassed. You're working with the feds now, Cap.
All I can imagine is the general from Raimi 1 that hates Norman.
Oh my god.
The last thing we need is some dipshit on a dirt bike.
Yeah, no.
That's all I can imagine, and now I'm dying.
The other thing that was so hilarious is one of Raoul's big plans is for them to douse the dogs with the prison guard dogs with the gas so that their bite would cause Steve to turn old. Wouldn't that like age the dogs rapidly?
Yeah.
And make them like geriatric, like old dogs? Like, I fail to see unless maybe it doesn't work on animals. Like they just carry the disease. I don't know. And so, like, they fight. And eventually, I think he can't make it to his helicopter, so he tries to get away on foot. And, of course, Cap, like, catches up to the dude. And, we get the scene where he tries to use the shield again, and it fails. And so, Cap decides, fuck it. And, like, because, like, basically the dude's like, I'm going to, like, you're going to stand still, and I'm going to administer the disease. Or else I'm going to, like, kill more people. And so just as, like, he gets close, Steve, like, tosses the shield in a way that, like, there's no way he can... And douses Raoul in the disease.
Yeah, and, like, Christopher Lee, you can tell, is, like, channeling some of that Hammer Dracula.
Oh, no. And
like, at that point, I mean, like, it looks pretty decent.
But then Captain America gets his ass choked out by a geriatric old man. Like Christopher Lee is aging to death as we speak. And he's choking out the super soldier. The dude's like can throw bikes and shit, and he's getting his ass choked out by, like, and don't get me wrong, I do believe Christopher Lee could do that. Because again, Christopher Lee has seen some shit. Or had seen some shit. And
had been a part of some shit.
And so basically, Raoul, like, ages to death. But thankfully, they find the antidote, and they spray it over Portland so that...
And the world is saved.
And also the fact that grunge can now happen thanks to Portland, Oregon. Or whatever.
Seattle. You're Seattle. Seattle.
I'm sure a lot of grunge bands come from Portland anyway, so it's whatever. And that was Captain America 2, Death Too Soon. So do you want to give any more thoughts to the second one?
I got really nothing. I mean, it was more interesting. There was at least some action. There was some stuff going on, but like there were still a lot of parts where it just dragged.
Yeah.
Like I could tell I was like, okay, like I can tell that like there were supposed to be commercial breaks here and there, but like it's just so dull in parts of it, and then the action comes on and I'm like, oh, I kind of forgot what I was watching.
Yeah. And like I do think the action's a little bit better in Captain America 2 as well, just because like they clearly had a little bit more money.
Yeah.
But it's very few and far between still is really what is the bigger problem. And I kind of get it because like you can clearly tell like the parts where they drag is supposed to be like, you know, from one episode.
Yeah.
Like if these were cut up into episodes, you and I could probably tolerate it a bit more because these are clearly like 6 episodes put together in like
kind of
3
strung
movies.
Together and stuff.
So like if they were done by like episode to episode, it probably wouldn't be too bad, especially if you were watching it week to week.
Exactly.
But and like I said here, like it's so dragged out that you're just after a while you're just like, oh my god, is it over yet? And this one's shorter too. It's like 10 minutes shorter, and it still feels like it goes on and on forever.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's probably a fan edit out there somewhere that like kind of like makes this like kind of trims it a little bit. Which if anybody has any links, feel free to share. I would love to at least check it out. It'd be interesting to see, but
if not, we'll have to do it.
I'm not editing this.
We're just gonna get a couple of different VCRs and we'll do it that way.
Jesus, you want me to do the James Rolfe where I'm editing that shit?
Yeah, that's exactly what
I mean, I know I have enough fucking VCRs to do it, but
you've got plenty of VHS tapes, Colton.
I do. I feel like I'll be wasting them doing that shit though, but
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so let's move on to ratings. The Captain America 1, I'm gonna give it honestly a 3 out of 10.
I would agree with that.
It's just really, really dull. The costume in it's kind of ass.
And if you're expecting
it's just not. To me, it commits the cardinal crime of a bad superhero movie.
Yeah.
In that it's dull.
Yeah.
In a superhero movie, there should be nothing dull. I shouldn't have to like force myself to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, it should have my attention. Even like, it should be compelling.
Yeah.
There's none of this here at all.
And also, again, this Steve Rogers is nothing like you know him as.
And the villain's lame as fuck.
Oh my god. Brackett, though he may be a Mad Dog killer, cannot save this film. And like, it's just really, really bad. Also, one of my other favorite things, these movies are so bad, Captain America 2 literally reuses the stock footage from the opening of Captain America 1.
Yeah.
Which is just...
Yeah, and you can't even buy these on Blu-ray either. You can only get the Shout Factory DVD, which is funny because the next movie we're going to be reviewing, you can get it on Blu-ray from the same people.
Which is hilarious.
So it's not like they can't make the Blu-rays.
I personally
They probably just wouldn't look that great.
Yeah, I think that's probably the bigger reason. That and like, I think... Because I think this came out before the 90s one. So like...
That release, you mean?
Yeah, so like, Blu-ray was not nearly prevalent of a thing, and honestly...
They probably didn't make enough money to warrant going back and doing
Blu-ray,
another...
Yeah. Now, on to our ratings of Captain America 2. I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10. Like, it's certainly a lot better and there's more action, but I honestly, I don't think it's enough to warrant, like, anything higher than an average.
That's going to be where I'm at, too. I'm going to say a 5 out of 10, and I feel like I'm being kind of gracious.
Because in my opinion, I think this is much more like what you were expecting from the first pilot. And in my opinion, they should have done this one first and then did the original one second. Because one of the biggest cardinal sins you do with a pilot is with a pilot you try to do the origin. The problem is with an origin is that it's not like everything else in the show. A good pilot, it should be something like what you would see averagely for the show. Like the pilot episode for Darkwing Duck, for example, is actually the Bushroot episode, the one that they aired first, where it's just an episode of Darkwing and Launchpad having an adventure fighting Bushroot. yeah, it's the origin of Bushroot, but like, it's what you would expect out of what the Darkwing Duck cartoon is like. It's about the superhero duck having comic adventures. Like, Darkly Dawns the Duck, while it is the pilot, is still a origin story, and they usually didn't show those episodes first. So, like, you get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If you're gonna do a pilot, in my opinion, you gotta do it in a way that
you gotta start with some A material first.
Like, you don't do the origin first. You save the origin for later. You have it where the characters are like, man, remember when you first became Captain America? I still remember it fondly. And then you have like
do what like the CW does now with like Supergirl.
Yeah.
It's in the intro of the show. There you go.
Yeah,
you have the intro.
Especially because with this, you could have done that. I mean, granted, they probably were too afraid that it was going to be like too much like the $6 Million Man. Like, as a $6 Million Man, the origin's right in the opening. You know, like they talk about his and gentlemen, we have the technology, we can rebuild him. But yeah, I sadly I think the second one while it is kind of fun, and if you do have to watch one of them, watch it, because you really don't need to watch the first movie, because it's just an origin. But yeah, and again, it just wastes Red Brown, who I know can has some semblance of talent.
Yeah.
Here I mean, granted, it's also early in his career, but like, it's just, he's not really allowed to do much, and it really shows. You know, thankfully he is very nice and still has a lot of like humor about being the first Captain America. So, you know, I'm at least glad it isn't something where like he hated like doing it, which I mean,
yeah,
has happened with people. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we?
In terms of can I recommend it? No.
Yeah, no. I said, if you have to,
if you're like me and you want to watch everything, you're gonna have to watch it eventually. But like, do it with some alcohol.
Yeah, and not only that,
make a drinking game out of it.
Just watch Death Too Soon if you have to. Like, you don't need to watch the first one. It doesn't even really give you the premise of the show, like, or that would have been like Captain America 2. Do you think this could have, if done better, would have like been able to be like as good as like say Wonder Woman or the Incredible Hulk?
I don't know. I think it would have been decent, because I think they could have done some interesting things with it if it had taken off and become a show.
Yeah.
But as it is, there's just not enough there for me to really see that like this should have been picked up. I can understand why they probably passed on it.
Yeah, they should have waited until the 90s and done it by the guy who made Renegade.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. That show is awful.
But
I remember in the break room they showed that show looked like such a piece of ass. But
I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Tune in next week when we review the 1990s version of Captain America. But until then, I'm Average Joe Squad.
And I'm Zangetsu134.
And as always,
we ask you,
remember the hyphen.
And take care of America's ass.